Hello and good evening. Welcome to Sacred Voices Open Mic. My name is Cipriano Ortega, and we are all here to listen to some poetry and music this evening. How's everybody doing out there? Come on, there's more people out there than tonight, so there we go. Excellent. Get some flesh and blood in here. Very good. All right, so Sacred Voices promotes unity and healing among Black, Indigenous people of color, communities through creative expression while empowering youth to find their voice, power, and become leaders in their communities. We also suggest donations to those of you out there, and donations of $5 or more would be helpful. Our Venmo is at Sacred Voices, so if you don't have the cash, we can always do something else. So, first on the list here, we have a wonderful musician for you tonight. Dennis is going to start us off this evening, so take it away there, Dennis. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, this is not golf. You don't have to have a little quiet clap. If you like something, just shout or scream or jump up and down, wherever you feel like. Is that coming through all right? Can you hear it? Can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask me if I'm through, we might not give the answer that you want me to. Oh, well. Talked to God, I knew she'd understand. She said, stick by me, I'll be your guiding hand. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to. Oh, well. Can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to. Oh, well. Oh well, oh well, oh well, oh well.
Thank
You
you
guys
very
are wonderful.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Everybody, one more time for Dennis, everybody. Way to get us warmed up for the evening. Thank you very much. So another thing as well, too, if you're all familiar with the first Friday that happens on Santa Fe, we are now starting to do some things over there on those evenings. So we call that Rhymes, Beats, and Lattes, and it's going to be on the first Friday on the Santa Fe Arts District at the Tonantzin Casa de Café. So if you want to join us there, I think I'll be there most of the time. And if you want to share some poetry and music as well there, it's a great way to get your work out there, and there's a lot of foot traffic. So, and I got to also say, this is great to see all these many people out here tonight. I'm used to like performing and emceeing for like 2, which is fine, but it is much nicer to see flesh and blood out there. So thank you all for coming tonight. So, all right. So we will carry on to the next person here. Let us have Juan Fuentes come on up.
Hi, my name is Juan, and I'm going to perform a poem, just one, And it's kind of inspired by like the school I go to and just some of the tensions that I feel about, myself and my identity, my language and stuff. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Doesn't have a name. I should have given it a name. Anyways. And sorry it's not memorized. That's my bad. Yes, okay, sorry. 8 truths from a Mexican who doesn't speak Spanish 1. When I was younger, my dad told me Mexican was a name given to my ancestors. After the border, cross them. To find work in broken English, they would say to white immigrants, me, I can. So we were called Mexicans. I appreciated this lie. The white immigrants were Spanish white immigrants, and they weren't immigrants, they were invaders. These invaders didn't give us this name. They raped it into us by their paso tongues that could not say the native word mexlico. You will never hear that word again, and it happened long before there were any borders anywhere too. Mexican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Hispanic, Latino, these identities that we hold onto so tightly represent the genocide of our native ancestors. Today, we do not have any other names. Like the language, like the people, our native identities died a long time ago. As history is written by the victors, we do not have a say. 3. For the record, I won't get offended if you call me Mexican or Hispanic or Latino. I just don't care anymore. I don't have a preference, like a rose smelling just as sweet. What my conquistadors called me is irrelevant. I am of the earth, its salt, its life. I only give life. I am from a people that could grow anything, anywhere. That is how we survive. Today, I can still grow anything, anywhere. It is in my blood, on my skin. I am the earth's favorite child. So please don't worry about what to call me. I know myself. It just took me a while to figure it out But for the longest time, I thought speaking Spanish would help me connect to my Hispanic culture. Thinking my native ancestry was wanted, I didn't realize conquistadors who raped the native populations were trying to commit genocide. Before the word existed, I didn't realize my brown skin represents all the native they were trying to kill. And today, when my fellow Hispanic people see me, I remind them of where they come from. They don't like that. 5. I say Hispanic because I'm about to talk about colorism and racism. I say Hispanic because most of the time we Hispanic people are part of the problem today. We are our own colonizers, cutting out our beautiful diversity with phrases like better the race or bad hair, and in our own little colonized caste systems, all raped by the same conquistadors, all trying to be just as white as them. We forget that this land was once ours. Maybe we just choose not to remember. White immigrants calling native people immigrants. Isn't that funny? Mexicans calling Mexicans wetbacks. Isn't that funny? Or six. I don't know if I have the right to be angry. I don't even speak Spanish. I don't know if learning will make a difference. I just know that's the only way I can really feel like I can talk to my grandma as she slowly loses her English to dementia. I cannot follow our conversations when her primary colonized tongue takes over. I'm losing time with her. And while she still remembers the good parts in Spanish, I can't help but realize I never knew her at all. 7. As I write this poem in English about how Spanish is my colonized tongue, I laugh at myself. Colonized over and over again, my tongue has died 1,000 times. Speaking English to you now without an accent is the best my native ancestors could hope for, because it means I survived. 8. And like the cruel, sad punchline goes, I am still learning Spanish. Like my ancestors were forced to, like some wanted to. Me, I can learn. Me, I can survive. Me, I can assimilate. Me, I can sit in a white classroom full of white teachers and white children and learn this white tongue from this white teacher so I can speak to my dying grandma. Getting a B-. History repeating itself. Me, I.
Let's give it a hand, another hand for Juan Fuentes, everybody. Thank you very much. That was wonderful. That's why we call this Sacred Voices. That indeed, you are indeed a sacred voice. But yes, I can't wait for more tonight. And actually that inspired me, so I wanted to talk about this one little experience, and I'll share a little brief poem of my own. So I went to Brass Armadillo. I don't know if you know where that is. It's an antique store. And, you know, there's little trinkets and things. And I love antiques. And there was this one section that was like the Wild West section. And there was a wanted poster with little toy, you know, cap guns out of like a wooden plank. And it said, "Wanted, dead or alive." And there was a picture of Geronimo. And I'm Apache myself. And Geronimo, regardless of everybody's opinion, and even with Apaches, their own little perspectives on it, I do relate a lot to his ways of being, since I come from that kind of heritage. So your poem inspired me to share this one. Mine are always kind of very dreary, not as hopeful as yours. But how old are you? 25. I'm 31. So we'll talk again in like 6 years maybe. All right. So this one's called The Outlaw. I never asked to be the outlaw, but you saw me naked there, riding on a horse so tall. In the evening time you called with your darkness and despair. You made me a sweet blanket made of smallpox and manure. It stunk of misery and deceit. Come morning you gave me whiskey. I thought I'd grow to trust you, but from what I see come dusk, there never was much of you. You're a lifeless husk. My love was always missing. It's somewhere you'll never find. So call me the outlaw, and I'll call you sweet despair. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always funny how it's always great to see, you know, all people, but definitely people of color as well too in these studios like this. And that's the beautiful thing about Sacred Voices, is that we have this wonderful professional television studio to do our poetry and performances in. So anybody out there and everybody here, if you know more people, get them out here and tell them, because we will give them the microphones and all the access that they need to be able to amplify their beautiful voices. All right, let's get someone else up here. Let us do Aaliyah Brown. Come on up.
Hello. I'm Aaliyah. Can y'all hear me okay? I feel like this is not on. Okay. Okay. This poem is called Magic Body. It's unhealthy. How often I tell myself I should find a man before I get too old. But everyone knows a woman's worth depreciates with time, hindering her from appreciating time. The clock becomes her enemy. It ticks and talks, tricks her into Botox. Yes, time tells us to start running. And if we can just keep our pace above that of our natural degradation, we might just still be lovable, might still be beautiful, worthy. But why am I even talking? Because black don't crack, right? But what if it does? What if my melanin melts away and deep veins surface instead, mapping purple rivers across my body? It's always been black girl magic. Do black women no longer embody that same enchantment? Where the black grandma magic at, y'all? Because my grandma was a baddie, and that's a fact. So I refuse to run. I won't race the clock, won't try and rewind the proof of this life that so lovingly carried me to this destination. I won't erase smile marks that show how much I've laughed and frown lines that hint at how much I've survived. And yes, girl, that means wrinkles and stretch marks, bodies bruised from the blessings of motherhood. We, portals for the universe, yet universally can only seem to focus on the condition of the door. Listen. If the door creates miracle, if the door creates life and laughter, who gives a if it's cracked? It's the inner glory I'm after, so yes. My elbows are bruised, darkened from crawling the uphill battle that is life as a black woman. But how dare you plant the soil for these challenges to arise and then blame me for getting scraped up or for trying to survive? It's ironic that every year we extend our life expectancy, and every year we expect women to look younger, thinner, hotter. Women today count calories rather than counting our successes. Hours spent fixing our appearance, unable to see our own luminescence. Body dysmorphia as common as a cold. Sickness is normality, but at least eating disorders keep you looking healthy when you're old. It's almost like y'all can't see that in this life of so much uncertainty, to be elderly is a gift. After so many episodes of depression, of suicidal ideation, finally I've had a revelation that this life is worth living. So when I make it that far, I won't run back the script. I will unwrap my flaws with a careful but hurried grip, eager to taste my 40s, my 50s, and beyond. I refuse to be ashamed. I refuse to remain in bonds. So thank you, society, for your input on my worth. But I am a woman of priceless value. And if my cellulite prevents you from seeing that, you've missed the point of woman on earth.
Thank you very much, Aaliyah. That was beautiful. You know, what your whole kind of meaning behind that really reminded me of the whole notion that there's something called father time. I always find it funny when people are like father time. And I'm like, why is time a male? Why is there a gender on time? It also reminded me of acknowledging our elder and older population here in the audience as well too. Not to call you out, but it's a good thing though. Really, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are in their 50s, and that kind of wisdom really is pretty priceless. Because someday, whether or not we want to admit it, hopefully all of us will make it to that time, and they'll be criticizing us for not being PC. So I guess we'll find out when that time comes. So, but thank you very much. That was beautiful. So yeah, a couple more infomercials or commercials here for you. But yeah, if you want to out there and anyone here want to donate to our cause, go ahead and do it at Venmo at Sacred Voices. $5 or more would be great. I feel like I'm on PBS. But yes, that'd be great. Also, we have a YouTube channel. We'd like to reach at least 100 subscribers, so it's just a click away. I do my own music too, and a subscription really does help get our stuff out there. So thank you very much for doing that when you get the time. All right, let's get another poetry up here, another poet. Let's, Haley. Come on up here, Haley.
I'm a little shorter. I mean, hopefully this works out. I think it'll be good. Thank you, though. All right. I've been trying my best to process through poetry. But this trauma, it's a different kind of art. They say art is supposed to make you feel something, and what I feel here is pruned. Shriveled, dried, empty on the inside, these tough remains indigestible. These memories, more like the pit that burrows into your stomach then twists. It chokes me up, but it never leaves. See, sometimes in therapy, all I can squeeze out is a whimper. And then I am forced to swallow the stench of this experience again. See, this trauma has worked me like a woodpecker. Dent after dent after dent, it has slowly splintered this oaky resolve and whittled me hollow. But in doing so from the backside forward, nobody could tell I was caving in on myself while I stood so tall. See, I have come to know that the red wine bruises on my spine were only the beginning. And since this trauma has crept up my nerves, pinned parts of my mind to my skull like a bulletin board, it's left a collage of certain memories on a display that I don't get to look away from. And every time I close my eyes, it just gets closer. His words louder, my chest tighter, the thud beats stronger, and so I have covered my ears and squeezed my eyes, and I have screamed until all that's come out is water vapor and heat, given every part of me for nothing but headache in return. Night after night after night, I have been waking in the sheen of nightmare sweat. Under symphony of all too familiar ragged breath, this trauma has made quick work of a confidence that I had been crafting for years. Overnight, it left nothing but eraser dust of the woman I once was, and the smear looks a little like Picasso's last portrait, just a little too close to death. And to be honest, I am sometimes tempted because I know this art would be taken more seriously. My word valued then, but somehow I am still alive. And the lack of justice makes me feel worthless, like just another number opposite of Vitruvius. Me, the promising young woman valued less than half the perfect man my acquitted rapist could become. And each of the 574 days spent awaiting a conclusion chipped further at my self-image until the wrecking ball recommendation of no action ensured it was left in shards. I have been scrambling to face the canvas again. Become the artist here, paint on a face more like Mona's. Accept that something might be missing, but I am still honorable. To hold my chin high like Frida, even if thorns of injustice dig into the skin at my neck, to still rise like Maya. And mosaic my broken pieces into something that feels just a little more hopeful. Me, a different kind of art.
Thank you very much. You know, both my parents are artists, professional artists here in Denver, Colorado. And it's nice to hear all those references to all those visual artists. And it's you painted it beautifully. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So moving on here to another poet. Can we have Daniel up here? Do we have a Daniel? Daniel? No? Okay. I guess I didn't get that one. Rachel. Yeah, come on up.
I'm Rachel. I have one poem for you. And it kind of wanders, so if you want to wander with me or leave and come back, you know. Time is a capitalist construct, but she had never met a beast like this. Unleashing tsunamis and storms across her land, she lets the waves wash over her. Miriam offers her hand so she can sip from her well. This stream of blessing nourishes. Her roots reach to the sky and grow among the stars, binding her to the divine. She reconnects to what she already knows. Ah, she said, laugh and be playful. Make beauty as an offering. Hold your intentions in your hands. It's time to write new stories. Will you trust your foresight to become more of who you are? I don't desire to be known by buildings constructed in my honor, no, rather by description of my character. Rising above my conditions, I'm able to manifest the things I want. It just comes with the choices that I make. It's time to write new stories. It's not luck, it's privilege. My recovery requires commitment. We can be here a while. So let's stay a while. Let's make our stay worthwhile. Expand your perspective to expand your knowledge of the world around you. See yourself differently. To see yourself clearly. Eartha said compromise. Compromise for what? Compromise for what purpose? She is free and expensive. She protects her time and energy, high value. How do I shape freedom? Highest of highs, invoke my memory of divine power and protection. My recovery requires commitment. I love you without resistance. The right people are in the right spaces at the right time. Follow your own time. If it's meant for you, it won't miss you. I observe my world with gratitude. To stay steady, to steady myself by our mother's presence. I shine my light so I can reap what I sow. May your celebrations be warm and meaningful. You are the energy of magic. Fill your own cup, no matter how big your cup is, and hold all things with wonder and awe. If you listen closely, the music is in the rain. It's not a warning. It's a premonition of goodness. I love soft reminders. I make space for things my body remembers. The doctors say we need 12 hugs a day. Our bodies can't tell the difference who gives the hugs, so give yourself hugs 12 times a day. The time for you is now. Water finds water. Every bit of love is eternal, regardless of the situation. Take risk, whatever that means to you, to reach out in love. Remember that we have free will. We choose our future or potential fade away without form. I am in the act of love. Teach your body can grow so it can learn to never know enough. Love me for who I am. What are you searching for? Something brave, what I desire and deserve. The time for you is now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. One more time for Rachel, everybody, and everybody else tonight. Thank you all very much. No, that's okay. All right. You get some good rest, and thank you again. One more hand for Dennis, everybody. Thank you very much. All right, next, Melody Brooke. Melody, is there not a melody tonight? No? All right. How about Lizzie? All right, Lizzie, come on up.
Hi guys, I'm Lizzie. I have 2 poems tonight. The first one is called Apple Pie. I could never date a man who doesn't know how to make apple pie. Did your mother ever teach you how? Have you ever sat in the heavy fragrance of caramelized apples, wishing your bitter life always tasted this sweet? Tasted like care and passion, like the love you pass back and forth with your mom, like it's the first bite you shared, to make sure it was cooked just right, to make sure it could act like the therapy you needed so desperately, to make sure it had the same effect on your heart that the preacher did as he prayed communion, to make sure that nothing was left to be done, to make sure that you'd rejoice if the rapture comes, that you'd be satisfied with only this sweetness and the Holy Son. Since your mother never taught you how to make an apple pie, you might not understand. It isn't something that spontaneously generates. Apple pie is a dessert that you work for. My mom sculpted fruit and wheat into sustenance. Her hands made my nothing into substance. Her hands paint flour on my cheeks, and now it is so clear that you were starving for this. The love you forced between us couldn't be remedied, a weak substitute for the real food you craved, a childhood hole turned into your grave. I thought I could teach you how to dig yourself out of that pit. Mom, can you help me with this? Yes, okay, you always cut with forward pressure. Because you slice apples, you don't chop them. When my mom and I made apple pie, we never bought the apples. She told me to only use the brown ones, the ones that were bruised and scarred. She said they were the sweetest. She'd make the crust from memory, glancing over her shoulder to make sure I was slicing the apples, not chopping them, only the bruised apples. I think that's where your recipe went wrong. You chopped the apples, you chopped up your heart and threw it at me, but a careful mix of spices is necessary. Cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and at Christmas, a little bit of whiskey. But your love was salt and you rubbed it in the same wounds you gave me. I think that's where you went wrong. I was already bruised, already sweet. I didn't need the heat of you lashing out at me. This is an apple pie. You have to be delicate. Did you buy this from a store? Do you prefer the store-bought crust that crumbled into a chalky dust on the car ride back instead of the sweet homemade lullaby I gave to you? Mom, is this the kind of problem I fix? How do I teach someone who has never been held to put their palms together and knead dough? How do you teach someone who has never looked at another with care in his eyes to watch for a golden crust? How does a mouth who never spoke of endless love taste the soft whispers of warm spice? Is it too late to teach them now? You know what? I should have expected this to burn. I should have used my abuse as an opportunity to learn. I should have picked out from a mile away the type of boy who doesn't get to beg me to stay. It has been a long time since I have had apple pie, and sometimes I can't quite remember the flavor. My skin forgets the warmth of a kitchen. My heart forgets the peace that comes with a kind love. So I thank God my mom taught me how to make apple pie, that I didn't have to look at a recipe to know that sweet things should just come that way, that you can't mask the sour punch of an unripe apple with sugar or passion. You can't unburn a crust. You can't pray away someone else's pain. When my love is getting beat, there is no more for me to gain by staying and crying the nights away. You don't get to make me suffer, distort the recipe my mother showed to me. You don't get to slice and chop and manipulate me into the dessert you crave. I don't have to sit another day and buy into the sour you made just because you never learned how to make apple pie. Thank you. My next one is called Acne Scars. I hide every emotion in a metaphor, each revealing secret and carefully crafted cover, so clever that I managed to hide it from myself. But now I'm staring in the mirror, and this speckled canvas is all I can see. My acne scars poke pinpricks in my facade, the kindling to a fire of hate that I just can't turn off. These flames rise higher and higher, and these burns just don't heal. I tell myself there's beauty in blood drops on clean snow, like that Christmas song I sang along to a while ago. It went something like, I was following pretty girls on every social media account, logged their lives in a journal, convinced my likes contrasted with my calorie counts. In order for one to rise, the other had to fall. Every comment on my body was an art critic choked with abstract art. Quote, 5 out of 10. Quote, this artist should never create again. Quote, all these Instagram bitches are fake. I choked out. These bitches are dying. We're watching them like zoo animals as they suffocate and break. And here I was, worshiping other women's posts like they weren't false prophets, photoshopping the Mona Lisa right in front of our eyes. I prayed for their ability to filter out parts of themselves they didn't like. How I wish I could erase parts of myself. I would erase 15 pounds every morning. It wouldn't even take 11 days to reduce me to nothing, a shell of the woman I once was, a collectible to pick up and discard as you please, something pretty and petite, admired on a shelf but always out of reach. Why am I more valuable when I take up less space, when I put myself on display and cinch my waist to make more room for insults, intrusive thoughts, and misogynistic reviews, Instagram brand deals advertising a new juice cleanse, a Victoria's Secret post where the plus size is 2. I thought beauty was something you either had or you didn't, but it's a game, a skill, a club, a career. You better pay your membership or the dues will kill. And I fear for my life right now, because 20 lines ago I told you how much I weigh, massed in simple math. Multiply the weight of your words by the divisions in my mind, go home and decide not to eat. Stare at my tiger stripes in the mirror and fall asleep in a starving defeat. Tiger stripes. Where did that word come from? They aren't scars. They weren't scraped into me, but they aren't alien. They aren't natural either. I wasn't born with a striped pattern upon my hips. I guess that's why I look in the mirror and unnatural words flow so naturally from my lips. My scars, no, my stripes sit like the thorns on a rose, wet lines of a child's finger paints on a clean wall. My body will mark you if you get too close, but flowers aren't so beautiful when you watch them decompose. Art isn't so subjective when it is the whole damn world criticizing how you grow. The only real scars are riddled in my mind, crevices burned in the membrane from hellish nights spent in agonizing dreamscapes, images of models I will never be, fantasies of an art show I might never see, fantasies of a future these scars might take away from me. I'm not asking for a savior or even to be wiped clean. I'm just wishing I didn't have to lie when I say I want to be seen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. But yes, thank you very much. Go on up there, Karen.
So this first one is titled The Letter Never Delivered. The late nights would begin to feel like phantom limbs, and I wasn't sure how much longer I could go on, and I'm tired of how you portrayed yourself as some pseudonym. Yet I cared, because you mentioned taking your own life, which left me nothing but scared, and while every day is a battle of healing for you, it was moments of unfeeling for me. I always knew addictive stimulants aren't the key, but you led me to believe it's all you need to be happy. Happy. A state we all wish to experience for more than just a couple some odd seconds. What was forbidden was perceived as heaven, and because it made you happy, I turned into someone I never imagined myself to be. You never asked me to, but I did because I cared. And when it came down to it, I would take the fall no matter the degree. And I might have cared a little too much because it cost me more than losing some opportunities. And now that I see, I'd rather be blind than see pictures of the distant past that seem so long ago, but in reality, it was just 10 some odd months ago that I was classified as a... Wait. What were those exact words again? For the team by association, and because you were the affiliation, it's what caused me to get on probation, and I'll admit, I was on an all-time low because the reality of a friendship break is an unescapable slaughterhouse that only I can be able to pull myself out of. I was dying in my mind that extinguished my essence, like fighting a war I would rage upon, where my happiness got lost, and soon enough my care for you was perceived as wrong. I had no reason to blame the tender earth I cared so much it boiled in my lungs like grave dirt. I began finding reasons to put myself first. Because being friends with you, I had lost my tempo, like carrying a load so heavy I had forced myself to let you go. But there are consequences of silence, and now my pride gets in the way. I'm learning to take my ancient faults day by day. I have no reason to apologize, so I'm sorry to myself for not catching the signs. This next one was made about a year ago in conjunction to our time of coronavirus and how it impacted me personally in terms of my race and ethnicity. Dear COVID-19, my ethnicity is not a virus, and to be classified as Asian and American right now just seems a little vulgar, where it's a frustration to the culture and really to all people of color. Because ever since this pandemic, this country has seemed to have lost its merit. Having the nation's leader go around blaming vulnerable times on a race just proves how much minds have shifted towards the wrong case. Eyes may seem smaller, chinkier, or even near closure, but we still see violence take over and the hate within hearts grow stronger. And Corona being first heard from China does not make it right to call it Kung Flu, especially in a country where immigrants are just trying to make it through. And calling it the Chinese virus is not an accurate representation to our president's ability to take point of view, but shows incompetence to show perspective and a failure to take action on what's right to do. Using the unknown as an excuse to harm the community forces Americans to fight hate with more hate, because ever since this pandemic, there's been a rise in attacks towards Asian Americans and the physical brutality in major cities that hold pieces of authenticity, specifically in everyday settings where people just should feel somewhat free. New York subways, San Jose streets, San Francisco businesses, justice for the Chinese, justice for the Japanese, justice for the Vietnamese, Koreans, Filipinos, Thai, justice for Vicha. We are not the same, but we all stand similar shame, and dying to be heard because hate-fueled attacks due to a disease we still barely know about is not a fair judgment to call it knockout. And ever since this pandemic, hate crime targeting Asians has spiked by 150%, so I'm here to stand and represent for voices who fear further trouble, even if it's for a radical intent. Racism is not an opinion. Freedom of speech is no excuse. Meaning my ethnicity is not a virus, yet my people manage to feel helpless. So dear COVID-19, you are not the root of this problem. You are what shed light on this unacceptable forum.
Boy, that poem definitely was written in COVID times. I mean, we still are in COVID times, but let us not forget the Cheeto that was supposedly our president at that time period. A lot of poetry came out of that whole time period, that, at least for me, a lot of interesting artistic endeavors for sure. All right. Well, to wrap up this wonderful, beautiful evening, we have our featured poet, which is going to be Mo Awaken. Give them a hand. Come on down. We are ready for you.
How you guys doing? That I've heard, so you guys are so amazing. Like, I'm so inspired. But this first one I'm gonna do is called February. Part 1. I wrote a poem for Black History Month, and there's gonna be 28 parts and a bonus one. So if you guys have Instagram, you can add me at mo3_awaken, and I'll repeat it again after. Like this. Could you guys hear me now? Okay. But okay. I said it before, and I'll say it again. My skin is dark and proud. My skin is the barrier between darkness and light. My skin is not just a color, it is the essence from where all colors originate. Our skin glows brighter than a penny fresh out the factory, and our worth has begun to burgeon. Don't mistake my blackness for weakness, weakness for kindness, or kindness for being oblivious. To be black is to know when to be silent. But I will not be silenced, because our blackness has been perfect way before Martin Luther King had a dream. And my blackness is on the throne, and like Rosa Parks, I refuse to get out my seat. Wait, y'all gonna Breonna Taylor me? Tamir Rice, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, shoot me dead in these streets. Hold up, I can't breathe. America's blocking my airway with the weight of its knee. When they dragged my ancestor through the dirt, they didn't realize she was a seed. Generations passed, and now she's speaking through me. Hold up, and I know you hear me. I said hands up, don't shoot. Because my blackness is one thing you can never mute. I always knew my blackness was power. But apparently you thought otherwise, because you say I'm a criminal and I'm just trying to live my life, yet you say I'm a thug or a killer, but I swear I never took a life. It's times like this why I have to sit up and I think at night. The white man always say I'm wrong, but at least my mama say I'm right. The color of my insecurities are not black, though it comes with consequences. I said the color of my insecurities are not black, though it comes with consequences. Police brutality, poverty, prison fences, from alligator bait to town hall lynchings. And oh, did I mention how white privilege is passed down to all their children? We're caught up in a catch-22. Either we lose or we lose. I should learn a whole lot more from these whitewashed schools. Teach black history, bond slavery. Or the fact they used to have a carnival game called Hit the Baby. And oh, if we really are created equal, give them a White History Month. Let every black child know that nothing would have been accomplished without us. See, my papa told me that he's nervous about getting the COVID-19 vaccine because it's the Tuskegee experiments when they purposely shot black men up with syphilis and left it untreated. They tried everything. My race still ain't depleted. I'm black and I'm proud, y'all, and I ain't planning on leaving. Let me calm down for a minute because I'm kind of getting cooked. They say if you want to hide it from a put it in a book. It's funny. They believe don't read. Like, really, it's amazing to me. Because my dad had me spelling my name, reading and riding a bike by the time I was 3. Y'all have accomplished to blind some of the youth, but I'm one that can clearly see. And I stand up for what I believe. My black people, you got to stand for something. You either do that or you're going to die for nothing. Thank you. And this, thank you. Thank you. So, let's see. I have a couple more that. This next one I'm going to do is a poem I wrote, and it's called Am I Worthy? Okay. A question that often lingers within my mind is, am I worthy? Am I worthy of life? Am I worthy of love? Am I worthy of peace? My breathing begins to increase. My anxiety starts to creep. I instantly feel alone. And at this time, the only thing that I can remember is the words of my mother's song as she gently cradles her baby girl with her confident arms and open heart. I smile. As she tells me the words, I am a mother before a wife, and you are my daughter before a child, I smile. The words of her voice begins to sadden me after a while, and I keep repeating to myself, no, not again, I feel alone. All this emptiness, I feel alone. Everyone around me is telling me to calm down, but do they really think I haven't tried that? I feel like everything I do or say is wrong and the world is against me because why the did this have to happen to me? I get it. Maybe it is my fault. Because at 5, I'm finding new things to learn, and I start to develop a mind of my own at 6. At 6, all I know is I don't like it. I don't know what you're doing, but I know I do not like it. At 7, I'm asking mommy to get me this new diary I seen on the TV commercial with the furry cover that will hopefully hide all my secrets. At 8 and a half, I've already learned about sex. No, not from an adult, but from my peers. I learned to lay there when the time comes and take it easy because that's what a man would want. At 9 and a half, 10. Grandma's sick again. God, please protect her at all costs because I really want her to see me succeed in life. Trust me, I really owe it to her. At 11, it's still happening to me, and I don't know what to do or who to tell, but Grandma's getting sicker. She's been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and my goal to become an oncology nurse has been set at 13, 14, 15. For 3 years straight, I've been heading down the wrong road. Music has become a part of my everyday life. At 15, I kind of start to love myself in that. Am I worthy question didn't seem as important at 15. I'm juggling my mind between fake friends and fake love at 15. Aromatherapy everywhere with LED lights. I mean, I had a whole vibe set at 15. I cry alone. At 15 and a half, maybe I should forgive him because why not? At 15, no, because that's not what family does. At 15, I just wonder, am I worthy of life? Am I worthy of love? Am I worthy of peace? Thank you. I'm going to do, okay, hold on, sorry. This is going to be, I'm going to leave you guys with this one. And this one is called Time. I've heard a few things about time tonight, so we're going to get it. Okay. I've learned that through time, we become fearless. We grow. We begin to blossom. Through time, we not only outgrow people we didn't know we could, but we change. We lose people we never even thought about leaving this earth, and we gain people that help us realize that time is timeless. And through time, we laugh and we cry. We break and we heal. We argue and we fight. We win and we lose. We conquer and we divide. But through time, we still learn. We learn how to improve. We learn from our mistakes. Sometimes we have a lot of time and sometimes we're out of time. And sometimes I think time, because there's so many times that time shattered my heart and left me to pick up all the pieces. But time left me a lot of time to do so. So sometimes I wonder if time is with me or against me, but time is strange, unpredictable, uncertain. Time is not promised, and time is something that you can't keep forever, but you just want to hold on to it, because maybe if you hold on to it for maybe just a little bit longer, you could say you didn't waste it. You can say, I lived in the moment and I embraced it. Time is precious. Time was lonely. Time will be great. Time is here. Time is now. Time was yesterday, and time will hopefully be tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, give us your Instagram. Yeah, one more time.
So my IG is mo3_awakened. So Mo Awakened. You guys good? Okay. And then if you guys got Facebook, Drippy Mo, that's it. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, you can stay up here. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
I'd like to do a little bit of interview for our featured poets. But yes, one more time, everybody, please, for Mo Awaken.
Thank you.
There is such strength in you. It's a beautiful thing to see. You're 17, right?
Yes, I'm 17.
Wow, amazing. Such insight. That's fantastic. And that goes for everybody tonight. Round of applause one more time for everybody in this room tonight. Very beautiful, vulnerable things tonight, which is a good thing. So yeah, tell us how you got started and your introduction to poetry. What got you started doing this?
Well, I feel like poetry has become like a coping mechanism. Like it's a way for me to cope. Same with music. I write music a lot, and I feel like it's a way for me to, like, you guys, have you ever had a feeling where like you can't explain how you feel in the moment, right? And when I feel that way, I write it down on paper, and it kind of just,
poetry definitely gives you time. Yeah, that's great.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So what school do you go to?
I go to Manual High School. Yeah,
How was that
Thunderbolt.
experience for you?
It's a good experience. I love Manual. I love the community. I love my peers there. Teachers, everybody is just amazing. I love being around them.
That's great.
Definitely.
Yeah, one more thing. If you could give all of us out there in Facebook land and also here words of advice, what keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to keep doing this?
What keeps me going? I feel like my motivation is not only my family, but the people who come after me, right? You know, for the people younger than me and who are still like trying to figure out who they are and figure out life. I think that's definitely my motivation. Definitely. That keeps
That's
me going.
beautiful. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody, one more time for Mo Awaken.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again. All right, well, that wraps everything up here. But once again, I want to thank you all very much, truly, for coming out tonight. And hopefully the next one is going to be May 13th in this studio. The one before that is going to be May 6th, which will be over at on the Santa Fe Arts District. And let me open up to the page that says the cafe. Oh, yeah. Cafe Tonantzin is what it's called. So we'll also announce it on Instagram and such. That's an Aztec, I believe it's an Aztec or Mayan word. So if you don't know how to spell it, that's okay. I don't either. But it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful place too. Good coffee, good food. A couple friends actually that I know actually work there. So, but yes, let's see. So one more thing. Donations. If you want to give us some stuff at Venmo, $5, $1. That would help us out a lot. Our summer camps are coming up. At sacredvoices.org. Find out more information there. Yes. So I think I'll sign off for today or tonight. Sacred dash voices, excuse me. My God is talking to me in my ear. And yes, so I'm Cipriano Ortega, and I want to thank you all again for coming out tonight. And we are signing off for now. See you all next time.